Peace to everyone. Welcome to Winning Wednesday for Wednesday, October 29th, 2025. I'm your host, Errol C. Mango, and I don't do much. I purposely don't do too much, okay? I don't like labor. I like living, okay? So before we continue, I want to make sure I'm good on the tech. I want to make sure I'm good on the tech. Can you hear me? Can you see me? I'm not good with tech. I am good with business, admittingly. Okay, so drop a confirmation in the chat if you can hear me and see me. Make sure I want to make sure we're good on the tech before we get too deep. All right. Also, let us know where you're from. Let us know where you're from. Today is a very important day in the financial markets. Okay, we're going to get into that. As you come in, let us know where you're from. As you come in, let me know you can hear me and see me. Okay, so drop a confirmation in the chat. Let me know that you can hear me and see me. Okay, today is a very important day in the financial markets. Today, in my opinion, is the most important day in the fourth quarter. Okay, today is the most important day in the fourth quarter. Okay, in the financial markets, and we're going to talk about why. Two main reasons why. We're going to get into it shortly. All right, so we'll give it 3 more minutes before we jump off. Okay, 3 more minutes before we jump off. As you come in, let us know where you're from. Today we're live on StreamYard, YouTube, and X. Okay, so we welcome everyone across the 3 platforms: StreamYard, YouTube, and X. Let us know where you're coming. Let us know where you're checking in from. Let me know that you can hear me and see me. Okay, I am admittingly bad with the tech. I admit I am bad with the tech. I am better with business. All right. Okay, so I got some people. Okay, cool. All right. Welcome, Michelle, Columbus, Ohio. Okay, welcome, Michelle. Thank you for the confirmation. Let's see who else. Peace to my guy Douglas, Austin, Texas, loud and clear, making those money. My guy Howard making money moves. Good. Shout out to Howard. Okay. I'm not another subject I'm not good with is English. Another subject I'm not good with English. I can't even read that. Okay, I can't even read that. This is Bruce. My bad, Bruce. I miscategorized my guy Bruce's sex. My bad, Bruce. My bad. My apologies, Bruce. My apologies. Shout out, Bruce. Okay, good. Cali in the building. Cali in the Lee Hall Maintenance Inc. Okay, shout out from California. Big up to my guy Lee Hall Maintenance. Jacqueline checking in from Chambersburg, PA. Okay, Pennsylvania in the building, I think. My guy Bruce. My guy Bruce, man. You throw me off, Bruce. All right. Enough of that. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to all the different states, different cities, different states, different planets, different stratospheres checking in. Okay. I want to jump right into it today. A very important day in the financial markets today. All right. So you may know first line of business. First line of business today is the Fed meeting. Okay. Today at 2 p.m. Eastern, the Fed will announce whether they're cutting rates or not. I want to get into, I've got an article I want to share there. And then today after close, some of these mega caps companies are reporting. All right, Google will be reporting, Microsoft will be reporting, and Meta will be reporting. Okay, so in my opinion, the most important day in the fourth quarter is today. All right, I want to check my notes, make sure I don't miss anything. Okay. All right, I want to before we start. Okay, I'm looking at the current market. S&P looks like it's slightly up. NASDAQ is slightly up. What else we have? Bitcoin currently at 111,300. What else? Ethereum 3,900. Microsoft 539. Meta 751. Okay, we're going to take a look at Meta today. Actually, let's do that right now. Let me pull up Google and let's take a look at some of these tickers that will be in the news later today. Let's see here. Meta stock price. Let's take a look at Meta. Let me share my screen here. Okay. Share screen. Meta stock price. Here we go. Okay. Meta is currently at 751.14. Okay. Meta will be reporting earnings later today. There you actually see it right there. Q3 earnings call, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. 5 days up about 2%. 1 month about 1% up. 6 months, 35%. Year to date, 25%. Okay, that's Meta. Let's take a quick look at Google. Google will be also reporting today. Google's currently at 272. 5 days up 7%. 1 month up 11.5%. 6 months up a crazy amount. Okay, Google's up 68%. Last 6 months, year to date, 43%. Okay, so that's Google. And another one I want to look up is Microsoft. Then we'll get into some of the articles. Okay, Microsoft currently at 538. 5 day, 3%. 1 month, 4%, almost 5%. 6 months, okay, Microsoft is up 36%. Year to date, 28%. Okay, so there's a few companies reporting earnings later today. We're going to keep an eye on those tickers. All right. All right. So let's get into some. I want to get into some of the articles right now. I want to first discuss the Fed meeting later today. I've got an article from Yahoo Finance I want to share. And this is from 9:30 this morning. Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about this article from Yahoo Finance. What time is the Fed meeting? What time is the Fed meeting? Okay, let's see what time the Fed meeting is. Let's see. Okay, scheduled. The Fed is scheduled to meet again on 28th and 29th, yesterday and today. Here's what to expect. The FOMC is meeting once again this week to assess the health of the economy and potentially adjust the federal funds rate. Let's scroll down and see what else we got here. When is the next Fed meeting? Okay, yesterday and today. This will be the 7th scheduled meeting this year. The Fed has one more meeting on the schedule for the remainder of 2025. Okay, so one more meeting after today's meeting. Once the meeting concludes, the FOMC will release its policy decisions at 2 p.m. Eastern. 2 p.m. Eastern, okay, right there. Then the Fed chairman will hold a news conference at 2:30 p.m. Okay, what time? 2 p.m. Okay, so that's in less than 2 hours from now. Less than 2 hours from now. All right. The live news conference held by the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell are live streamed and recorded. Additionally, the minutes of regularly scheduled meetings are released 3 weeks after the date of the policy decision. Knowing when the Fed meets to discuss monetary policy and tuning into those meetings can help you gain a better understanding of the economy, of how the economy is doing, help you make informed decisions about your personal finances. Okay, breaking news. Knowing when the Fed meets to discuss monetary policy and tuning into those meetings can help you gain a better understanding of how the economy is doing and help you make informed decisions. Keyword right here, informed decisions about your personal finances. Okay, if you care about your personal finances, know when the Fed meets. It has a direct impact on your finances, okay? We studied all kinds of things in the past that had no impact on our personal finances. When the Fed meet does have a direct impact on our personal finances, okay? No disrespect to Romeo and Juliet, no disrespect to pronouns, no disrespect to a bunch of other irrelevant BS that we studied, okay? Those things had zero impact on your personal finances. When the Fed meet has a direct impact on your personal finances, okay? All right, let's keep going. What will happen at the next Fed meeting? The Fed is expected to cut the federal rate for the second time this year. These people predict a 98% chance of a rate cut. Okay, 98% chance. Following its last meeting, when it cut its target rate by 25 basis points, the Fed stated recent indicators suggest that growth of the economic activity moderated in the first half of the year. Job gains have slowed and unemployment rate has edged up but remains low. Inflation has moved up and remains somewhat elevated. Okay. Let's see what else here. That said, it's impossible to predict with certainty when the Fed will make cuts and by how much. Okay, here we go. Key takeaways from this key takeaway from this article right here. It doesn't hurt to be prepared. It doesn't hurt to be prepared. Okay, that's the key sentence in this whole article. Okay. And this just goes for life in general. Okay, it doesn't hurt to be prepared. Let's see what else here. Okay, it goes on to talk about CDs. Consider refinancing. Time large expenses strategically. Okay. All right. So 2 p.m. today, less than 2 hours from now. Okay, the Fed will make a decision that directly impacts our finances. Okay. What time? 2 p.m. Eastern. All right. So that's the first article I wanted to discuss. Okay. Has a direct impact on our finances. Okay. All right. So that's 2 p.m. today. Okay. I've got another article I wanted to discuss here from CNN Business. Let me see if I can pull it up correctly. The Fed will probably cut rates today. The shutdown could make future costs more difficult. Okay, for CNN, and this is from about 2 hours ago, early this morning. Okay, let's see what we got here. All right, okay, let me share this article from CNN Business. CNN Business. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. The Fed will probably cut rates today. The shutdown could make future cuts more difficult. Let's see what's going on with CNN Business. President Donald Trump has spent much of the year urging the Federal Reserve to deliver aggressive rate cuts in order to boost the economy. But the government shutdown ironically threatens the very momentum the administration seeks to preserve. That's because the shutdown has suspended the release of most official economic stats that the Fed relies on to set rates and steer the economy. Last week was supposed to be the release of the CPI report. Last week, Friday. Let's see. Central bankers agreed last month to start cutting rates for the first time since December. That's because data through August showed a weakening labor market that seems increasingly at a risk of falling off a cliff. Falling off a cliff. I think, my English isn't too good, but I believe they meant falling off a cliff. The Fed is set to announce a quarter-point rate cut on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, the conclusion of a two-day policy meeting. But if the government data blackout persists for much longer, obscuring how the world's largest economy is faring, central bankers may revert to the same strategy that frustrated Trump earlier this year, standing pat until there's a better clarity. All right. The irony of a shutdown for Trump. The Trump administration has taken advantage of the shutdown by defunding Democratic priorities and trying to fire thousands of federal workers. But it won't be able to play the same card with the independent central bank, and the shutdown could backfire on the administration's own economic goals. Okay. All right. Okay. This is actually this paragraph right here. I can't really highlight what I want to highlight. I can't really highlight the exact words I want to highlight, but key word right here, key three words right here: cost of living. Okay, if you've had a meeting with me, I probably asked you what your cost of living is. Okay, cost of living is a key metric. If you want to retire, if you're tired of working, okay, you need to know your cost of living. Okay, if you have any interest in moving forward to your retirement date, you need to know your cost of living. Okay. All right. Latest inflation data. The CPI for September came out last week despite the shutdown. It was released to ensure the report can be used as a basis for Social Security's annual cost of living adjustments. The report was cooler than economists had predicted, but it still showed the Americans' cost of living got even more expensive last month. Breaking news here on Winning Wednesdays. Americans' cost of living got even more expensive last month. Okay, we have identified the problem. There's a problem right there, if I can highlight it. Okay, there's a problem right there. We have identified the problem. Okay, what is the solution? Okay, identifying the problem and solving the problem are not the same thing. Those are two different things. Cost of living is going up. What are you going to do about it? Okay, what are you going to do about it? All right, let's see what else here. Okay. All right. This article goes on to discuss some other the detail. Okay. Bottom line: Fed meets today. Powell will speak at about 2:30 p.m. Eastern. The expectation is a 25 point reduction in rates. We'll see what actually happens. Okay, we'll see what actually happens. All right, so that was the first thing I wanted to discuss today, the FOMC meeting. FOMC meeting, okay, later today. All right, I want to share my YouTube short screen right here. There's a couple interesting YouTube shorts I saw this morning. I wanted to talk about a couple of these. Let's see here. Let me see if I can share this correctly here. Share screen, Yahoo Finance. Okay, here we go. The CEO of the world's largest company spoke recently, so I want to see what he has to say, Jensen. And I also want to share, I got an article that discussed this partnership between Microsoft and OpenAI. I want to talk about that as well. Let's see what's going on with Sam Altman.
OpenAI has completed its recapitalization. That means Microsoft and OpenAI have now finalized an agreement. So basically, OpenAI, which has existed as a nonprofit and a for-profit, now is simplifying that corporate structure. The nonprofit will remain in the control of the for-profit. The for-profit entity is valued at about $130 billion. And Microsoft will get a 27% stake in that nonprofit entity that sounds like it's worth $135 billion. The nonprofit is now going to be called the OpenAI Foundation. As part of the new agreement between the two, there is a new commitment on the part of OpenAI to buy $250 billion worth of Azure services from Microsoft here. And it looks like that Microsoft does retain some IP rights and Azure exclusivity until, according to their agreement, until they reach artificial general intelligence, which is a goal that has been talked about where the AI will have human level capabilities of thinking. OpenAI has completed its recapitalization. That means Microsoft and OpenAI
and Microsoft, okay, are making moves. They're making moves. All right, let's go back one screen. I got an article I want to discuss that in detail shortly. I want to see what Jensen has said. I believe he spoke yesterday.
The software industry of the past was about creating tools. Excel is a tool. Word is a tool. A web browser is a tool. The tools industry is only so large. But AI is not a tool. AI is work. That is the profound difference. AI is in fact workers that can actually use tools. The software industry of the past was about creating tools. Excel is a tool. Word.
Okay. So one thing I want to mention about NVIDIA is a couple things. They just crossed the $5 trillion market cap mark, I believe, yesterday. It wasn't too long ago that they just crossed the $4 trillion market cap. I believe that's the fastest. We're going to ask the AI shortly how fast NVIDIA went from 4 trillion to 5 trillion. It's got to be a record. It's got to be. So we're going to look up that in a minute. I want to share this one as well.
AI has now reached the virtuous cycle. That virtuous cycle for NVIDIA has now been achieved after 30 years. 15 years later, we've achieved that for AI. And so the more you use it, the more profit is generated. The more profit generated, the more compute's put on the grid. The more compute is put into AI factories. The AI becomes smarter. More people use it. More applications use it. The more problems we can solve. This virtuous cycle is now spinning. What we need to do is drive the cost down tremendously so that, one, the user experience is better. When you prompt the AI, it responds to you much faster. And two, so that we keep this virtual cycle going by driving its cost down so that it could get smarter, so that more people will use it, so on and so forth. AI has now reached...
All right, speaking of ChatGPT, speaking of OpenAI, let me stop sharing that one. Let me share myself. Okay, speaking of OpenAI, speaking of ChatGPT, I want to ask the AI how... let me share my ChatGPT right here. ChatGPT. Okay, we're going to ask ChatGPT. Let me see if I can get this correctly. Okay, here we go. When did Nvidia reach 4 trillion in market cap? This wasn't that long ago, actually. This wasn't that long ago. Okay, does it give me the date? Let me see if it gives me the date. Nvidia first briefly crossed 4 trillion market cap milestone during the intraday July 9th. July 9th. Okay, so look, July 9th, yesterday was October 28th. Okay. So that has to be, we're going to ask the AI how fast it went from 4 trillion to 5 trillion. That has to be a record. Okay. I don't remember a company increasing in that much value that shortly. Okay. That fast, I should say. Okay. 4 trillion on July 9th, 5 trillion on October 28th. Okay. Let's ask the AI, when did Nvidia reach 5 trillion in market cap? Let's see if this was actually yesterday or the day before. July 9th, they hit 4 trillion. And let's see if this gives me the answer. 5 trillion market cap. Let me scroll down. Okay, reached about 5 trillion market cap yesterday. Okay, yes, or 29th is today. 29th is today, actually. 29th is today. Okay, so look, they went from 4 trillion on July 9th to 5 trillion today. Okay, so Nvidia is increasing in value very, very fast. Okay, currently at 205.77. Okay, so okay, let me ask the AI, how many days between July 9 and October 29? Nvidia increased in market cap $1 trillion in let's see here, how many days? 112 days. 112 days. Okay, 112 days. That company created up 1 trillion in value. Okay, there are 112 days between July 9 and October 29. Okay, they increased in value $1 trillion in the last 112 days. Okay. All right. So there you go. There you go. Nvidia is increasing very fast. Okay. Very fast. All right. Let me stop sharing that one. Let me share myself. All right. So that's what is going on with Nvidia. I've got one more related article I want to share. It talks about Microsoft's and OpenAI's partnership in a little more detail. Let me see if I can share this one. Share screen. Here we go. Oh, Microsoft, OpenAI reach deal. Let me see if I can read this correctly. Removing fundraising constraints for ChatGPT Maker. All right. Let's see if I can pause that and let's get into this article. Okay, Microsoft and OpenAI announced a restructuring deal on Tuesday that frees the ChatGPT Maker to move away from its nonprofit roots and likely go public so it can finance CEO Sam Altman's ambitious plans to develop data centers and cutting-edge technology. I thought ChatGPT alone was cutting-edge technology, but I guess not. The deal refashions the $500 billion company as a public benefit corporation that is controlled by a nonprofit with a stake in OpenAI's financial success. In a live stream broadcast, Altman said the IPO was the most likely path for the company's future, given how much money is needed to train and build AI systems like the one that supports GPT. Altman and chief scientist Jacob Pachoki opened the live stream by outlining plans to shift OpenAI from a product company into a platform that lets others build their own tools, services, and business on top of its technology. We can now take this tech and this user base and this sort of framework we've built and get the whole world to build amazing new companies and services and apps on top of it. Okay, let's see here. The restructuring has been one of many initiatives underway at OpenAI, which is betting that its generative AI tech will ultimately transform the global economy. moves have heartened OpenAI's investors and business partners, including NVIDIA, who was asked about the news at developer conference on Tuesday. Okay, so Jensen was speaking yesterday. I wish back in the earlier days that we invested a lot more. Okay, all of us, not only you, Jensen. If you told me that OpenAI was going public next year, I'm not surprised. And in a lot of ways, I think this can be one of the most successful company offerings in history. Okay. Capital constraints cause tension. Tuesday's agreement removes major constraints on OpenAI's ability to raise capital and secure computing resources from Microsoft that have been in place since the two companies forged their agreement in 2019. Let's see here. Altman will not get equity in the restructured company, an OpenAI spokesperson said. In a reversal from discussions last year that would give him a stake, the spokesperson added that there will be no changes to his compensation from OpenAI, which pays him $76,000 a year. Altman said OpenAI has financial obligations of $1.4 trillion that will help build roughly 30 gigawatts of data center infrastructure over the next few years. Okay, so Microsoft is to keep 27% stake. Microsoft will hold a 27% stake in OpenAI, remain a significant player in its future. OpenAI will continue to share about 20% of its revenue with Microsoft for years to come. People familiar with the matter said. Okay. So one thing that surprises me is Microsoft came out and said this yesterday. I thought they would have waited to today's earnings to mention this, but they came out one day earlier than I thought they would. Microsoft shares rose 2%, setting its market value above $4 trillion again. Okay, so that was yesterday. Okay, those of you that own Microsoft might have seen that. Okay, Microsoft jumped a lot yesterday morning. All right, so that's what's going on with Microsoft, OpenAI, Sam Altman. Okay, the biggest companies in the world are doing business with each other. All right, biggest companies in the world are doing business with each other. Okay, let's see here. I know I'm missing a lot of the comments. Okay, let me go back to comments for a second. All right, so, okay, peace to everyone that's just now joining. Detroit in the building. Peace to Detroit. Andrea says, Donald J. Trump has been barred from firing federal workers during the shutdown. Okay. All right, I didn't know that. All right, peace to Sheila. OpenAI, Andrea says, OpenAI has no funds but the circular investment with Microsoft, NVIDIA, and other giants. Okay, yeah, they're doing business with each other. Let's see what else. NVIDIA's kicking butt, i.e., going up and making moves. Yep, we can learn a lesson from NVIDIA, right? Even when you're on top. Think about ways you can innovate. Think about ways you can improve your product and service. Okay, just don't sit back, kick your feet up, and expect your competitors not to gain ground on you. All right. Okay, peace to everyone else. Okay. All right. Let's see what else I got in my notes here. Talked about Microsoft. All right. Okay, we talked about NVIDIA. All right, I want to talk about the other major story. Well, I kind of touched on this already, but I want to share this graphic I have from X. Shout out to Earnings Whisperers. Here's the companies that are reporting earnings this week or have already done so. Okay. Monday, let's see, any big names on Monday? Waste Management, maybe. Probably the biggest name on that list on Monday. Yesterday, SoFi, PayPal, Visa, UPS. Early this morning, Verizon, Caterpillar, ADP. Okay, later today, right there in the middle, after close today, some of the big boys, Meta, Microsoft, Alphabet, okay? 3 of the top 7 companies in the world, 3 of the top 8 companies in the world to report earnings today. And tomorrow morning, Eli Lilly, Comcast, Roblox. Tomorrow afternoon, 2 other big boy companies, Amazon and Apple. Coinbase also after hours. Strategy also after hours tomorrow. Friday morning, ExxonMobil. Okay, so this is the most important week of earnings this week. Okay, 5 of the top 8 companies in the world, something like that. 5 of the top 9 companies in the world report earnings this week. Okay, 3 later today and 2 tomorrow. Okay, if you include Eli Lilly there, maybe 6 of the top 12 companies, 6 of the top 13 companies, something like that. Okay, so that's why I say this week's is arguably the most important week in the market. This is a large part of the reason why right here. Okay, earnings this week. Big boy companies report earnings this week. Okay, big boy companies. Okay, I'm personally keeping an eye on Meta and Microsoft today. Okay, I'm personally keeping an eye on Meta and Microsoft today. All right, so that's earnings. That's earnings this week. All right, earnings. All right, so let me stop sharing that. All right, so that's earnings. In terms of scheduling, I want to quickly discuss what I got going on in the Black Business School the next week or so. What I got going on in the Black Business School in the next week or so. First thing on the list. This Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern, I'll meet with the WIN group. We will discuss options, okay? We will discuss options for anyone in the WIN Mastermind. That's this Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern. If you're interested in joining the WIN group, consider joining the WIN group. A very valuable mastermind group. I meet with them every 2 weeks. We will meet this Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern, okay? That's the first thing I've got going on in the Black Business School. That'll be Sunday. On Wednesday, okay, usually Winning Wednesdays is 12 noon Eastern. Next Wednesday, Winning Wednesday will be at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, okay? So 7:30 p.m. Eastern next Wednesday, not noon Eastern next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, we will meet for Winning Wednesday, okay? 7:30 p.m. Eastern next Wednesday. That's the second thing I've got going on in the Black Business School. Third thing I've got going on in the Black Business School, we're still finalizing the detail. On November 15th and November 16th, I will host a 2-day options training. So that's the tentative plan. November 15th and November 16th, Saturday and Sunday, I will host a 2-day options training, okay? I purposely try to differentiate my options content, okay? I purposely try to bring new content to the table, okay? I'm not going to bring recycled content. I don't want to bring content that you've seen on YouTube 8 times already, okay? I purposely differentiate my options content, okay? So I will incorporate some of that new content into the 15th and 16th, okay? November 15th and 16th, I will host a 2-day options training, okay? 3 hours each day with a break in between. So that's the third thing I've got going on, November 15th and 16th, 2-day option training. Okay, I purposely will bring new content. I purposely will bring fire content. I will purposely bring unique content that you haven't seen in other option classes, okay? November 15th and 16th. Fourth thing I've got going on, I literally just thought about this overnight. 4 a.m., I woke up at 4 a.m., I picked up my phone and I started writing down notes on my phone. Fourth thing I've got going on in the Black Business School, I haven't set the date yet. I literally just started thinking about this, was to have a free training on YouTube titled Business and Fear, okay? Business and Fear. I'm still putting together some of the content. I haven't figured out a date yet. I haven't figured out a time yet, but that's in the pipeline. Business and fear, okay? Fear is a large obstacle for us, okay? Overcoming the fear will definitely propel us forward, okay? So I'm working on a business and fear training. I will drop some of the detail once I finalize the detail, okay? So those 4 things. Win this Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Next Wednesday, Winning Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. November 15th and 16th, a 2-day option training, and business and fear TBD. Okay, so those are the 4 things I got going on in the Black Business School in the near future. Okay. All right, so let me see what else we got going on. Okay. All right. I want to talk about. Let me go to Google right quick. Let me go to Google. Actually, before I do that, I want to talk about Amazon. I saw this article on Amazon. Amazon is laying off a whole bunch of people. Let me see if I can share this article from. This is from Yahoo Finance. You might have seen this article. I think this was from Monday. Let's see what's going on with Amazon. Let me see if I can share the screen properly. You know I screw up the tech a lot. Share screen. Okay, bear with me while I screw up this tech. Share screen. Amazon to cut 14,000 corporate jobs. Okay. Amazon to cut 14,000 corporate jobs in AI push from routers. This was from yesterday morning, Tuesday, October 28th, 5:30 a.m. Eastern. Okay. Let's see what's going on with Amazon. Amazon said on Tuesday it will reduce its global corporate workforce by 14,000 people, with more cuts expected next year in a major shakeup driven in part by adoption of AI at the tech giant. The online retailer began laying off employees across multiple divisions as part of the plan, first reported Monday, to cut as many as 30,000 employees. The company has not confirmed the broader layoff plan, but in a company-wide email indicated further cuts were planned. Amazon is working to compensate for overhiring during the peak demand of the pandemic and to limit costs as it enters its crucial holiday selling season. The layoffs offer an early look at the possibly broad effects of AI on workforces. Jassy flagged the potential for such losses in June, saying increased use of AI tools and agents would lead to more corporate job cuts, particularly through automating routine tasks. Okay, we talked about this over the summer. This shouldn't be breaking news to anyone. Amazon had about 1.5 million full-time and part-time employees at the end of last year. Its corporate workforce includes roughly 350,000 employees. Workers told routers they learned their jobs were eliminated from letters sent to their personal email addresses early on Tuesday morning. Okay, they didn't have the balls to look you in the face. They sent you an email to your personal address. Okay, they didn't have the guts to tell you that face to face. They sent an email to you yesterday morning. Okay. What else? You are no longer required to perform work on Amazon's behalf. Holy moly! You are no longer required to perform work on Amazon's behalf. Read the email from Senior VP of People Experience at Tech, which was sent to impact employees and seen by routers. Okay, they don't need you. You are redundant. You are no longer needed. Your tasks have been automated. What are you going to do about it? Let's see what else. Amazon will offer most affected workers 90 days to look for a new role internally and said its recruiting teams would prioritize those candidates. Jassy is undertaking an initiative to reduce what he described as a I've never seen this word before. Okay, I gotta admit, I've never seen this word before. Surfeit of bureaucracy. Okay, forgive me. I only read at a third grade level, including by reducing the number of managers. He spun up an anonymous complaint line for identifying inefficiencies that has elicited some 1,500 responses and over 4,000 process changes. Okay. This week's move represents the deepest job cut since 20,000 jobs were eliminated in late 22 and early 23. Departments affected on Tuesday included devices, advertising, Prime Video, HR, operations, Alexa, Amazon's cloud computing unit, Amazon, AWS. Okay, AWS has been having some issues lately. All right. Okay, so Amazon cutting jobs. I wonder what's going to happen to their stock price after their earnings tomorrow. After their earnings tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, tomorrow after close, Amazon will report earnings. We'll see what happens to their stock price. Okay, Amazon is laying people off. Okay, what do you guys think about that? Let's see here. Jacqueline says, can you talk about XRP and Evernorth's purchase of $1 billion at XRP? Okay, I didn't know about this. Let's look it up together. Let's look it up together. Let me go to Google and type XRP news. Let's look at the news together. Share screen. XRP news. Here we go. All right, here we go. I just literally searched XRP news. Here it is. Okay, let's see here. Okay, XRP is what price currently? Does it say? Someone let us know what price XRP is right now. There's an interesting article right here from Forbes. Let's check out this article from Forbes. 263. Okay, according to this article from Forbes, XRP is 263. All right, let's see if it lets me read the article. Does it let me read the article? Maybe not. Is this the one you're talking about? Inside Ripple's 180 billion reinvention? That was from yesterday. Let me go back to Google. Okay, so this is all the news, right? Okay, let's go with more news here. Okay, so who bought XRP? Who was it? Evernorth's purchase of 1 billion. Okay, so Evernorth. Who is Evernorth? I never heard of Evernorth. You think it would be here? Okay, no mention of it here. I don't see it mentioned Evernorth anywhere here. XRP crypto reclaims number 3 spot, overtakes BNB. All right, let's check this out. Yahoo Finance right here. XRP reclaims number 3, overtakes BNB. Institutional XRP news on verge of going parabolic. XRP crypto has roared back into the spotlight this weekend, surging past Binance Coin BNB to reclaim its position as the third largest crypto. Token climbed to 263 with a market cap of approximately 158 billion. The move caps a 13% weekly rally, outpacing other top 5 digital assets. Okay, let's see here. Does it mention? Okay, there it goes. The standout catalyst is the emergence of Evernorth, a digital asset treasury initiative aiming to accumulate and deploy XRP at scale. Okay. All right, there we go. Institutional XRP news could trigger parabolic XRP price breakout. Let's see what else it says here. Okay, this is news to me. I didn't know about this. XRP is currently trading at a market price of 261. Okay, I press time. Okay. So this is okay. Shout out to who was that? Jacqueline. Shout out to Jacqueline for putting me on some game. Okay, XRP currently at 263. Who was it? Evernorth had bought 1 billion worth. Okay, yeah, Jacqueline. Shout out to Jacqueline. XRP. Let me pull up my trading view. Do I even track? Maybe I should. I'm gonna actually add XRP to my my watch list right now. Now, before I forget, XRP. Okay, there it is. Actually, that's not the one I'm looking for. I'm looking for the crypto. I think I had the wrong one. But anyways, I'm going to... Oh, here it is. I think this is it here. Yeah, okay, I added the wrong one. Okay, yeah, I'm going to add this to my watch list before I forget. XRP currently at 262, according to TradingView. 262. All right, thanks, Jacqueline, for the news. All right. Okay, so that's Amazon and XRP. Okay, so XRP is making moves. All right, so what I want to do right now is take a look at this stock right here. This one has done me well. I'm going to search the price right now and then share my screen here. Okay, here we go. Let me stop sharing that. Let me share this one. And that price is that ticker is SoFi. Okay, SoFi. All right. Currently at 3108. 3108. They had earnings yesterday. SoFi has been doing very well year to date, up 120% year to date, or about $17. Okay. Yesterday it was okay. Today it's down slightly, but 5 days it's okay. 5 days it's up 13%. Okay, 13%. If for all you shareholders in SoFi, you're up 13% the last 5 days. For all you option traders, you might be up even more than 13% in the last 5 days. Year to date, 1 year up almost 200% 1 year. 5 years about 200%. Okay, I wanted to point this ticker out, SoFi. I also wanted to point out this one here, PayPal. PayPal reported earnings recently. Okay, currently at 71.23. PayPal at one time was one of the biggest financial service companies. PayPal currently at 71.20. Okay, the last 5 years it hasn't done too hot though. Hasn't done too hot. Okay, so there's the last 5 years. It's down 62%. Down $115 to 71. Okay, it hasn't done well the last 5 years. Okay, 5 days up 4%, 1 month 2%, 6 months 7%, year to date. Okay, year to date it hasn't done well. Down $14, 17%. Okay, PayPal. Okay, PayPal. Once the mighty PayPal. Okay, so PayPal has faced a lot of stiff competition since the pandemic, including SoFi. SoFi, I believe, is one of their direct competitors. Okay, PayPal currently at 71.27. Another one is Waste Management. WM Waste Management currently at 199. Okay, currently at 199. They reported earnings recently. 5 day down 8%. 1 month, let's see, 1 month down 9%. 6 month down 12%. Year to date down. Okay, year to date about flat. 1 year down about 9. Okay, 5 year they've done well. All time they've done well. Okay, Waste Management. Okay, Waste Management isn't going anywhere. If you believe in waste management, maybe now's the time to jump in. Okay, currently at 199.77. 199.77. All right. All right. Any ticker you want to look up, drop them in the chat. Drop them in the chat if you want me to look up any ticker. If you guys want to look up any tickers together, drop it in the chat. Let me make sure I can have. Okay. Yeah, drop it in the chat if you guys want to look up any ticker. All right. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Let me stop sharing that one. Let me go back. Now's the time. Drop a ticker if you want us to look it up together. All right. While you guys do that, I'm going to share my trading view. We'll take a look at the market, what's going on in the market overall. Okay, let me X that. Let me share this. Okay. S&P slightly up. NASDAQ, same thing. Apple's another interesting one. 268.95. They report tomorrow. AMD 259. Amazon 231. A couple of companies to keep an eye on there. Bitcoin 111. Coinbase 352. Google, okay, that one's been on fire. Google later today. Alphabet reports earning 271. I wonder what's going to happen with Google later today. Same thing with Microsoft. Same thing with Meta. Microsoft 538. Meta 750. Netflix. Okay, Netflix I think reported, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? They're currently at 1,098. Okay, not too long ago they were at 1,200. Not too long ago they were at 1,200. Netflix. Let's see if my chart will cooperate with me. Let's see, 6 months. Okay, 6 months ago. Okay, what is this? End of June. End of June, it looks like they're about 1,300 and something, right? 1,300 back in June. Now we're in October. We're at 1,098. Okay, that's Netflix. And just a minute ago, I had added XRP to my watch list right here. I'm actually going to move XRP right to my crypto, right under Ethereum. Actually, no, I'm gonna leave it at the bottom. I have it in alphabetical order. Okay, XRP right there. Okay, so there's some of the tickers I follow. I don't even follow all these tickers. I follow maybe 5 tickers. Okay, I really follow 5 tickers, 5 or 7 tickers. Okay, I don't follow all these tickers that closely. I just have them on my watch list here. Okay. So my approach is, I'll look at the market once or twice throughout the day, just for literally a few seconds, get a quick snapshot of what's going on, then I keep it moving. Okay. All right. Okay, so talked about that. How it looks. Okay, so let me go back to Google. I'm going to go back to Google and just search stock market news. Let me share my screen there. Stop sharing and share this one. Stock market news. Okay, so here's some news. Let's see what's going on. Stock market today. Dow, S&P, NASDAQ rise as NVIDIA hopes run high. First article right here from Yahoo Finance. Talked about this one. What Amazon mass layoffs are really about. Let's see what this. Let's see what they're really about. Okay, lay off thousands of people, citing its desire to slim down and operate like the world's largest startup. Okay, there's a lesson in this sentence right here. No matter how big your company is, operate as lean as possible. Operate as lean as possible. Okay, that's the takeaway from that sentence right there. What else? Okay, so look, same thing Microsoft's doing, same thing Meta's doing. These companies are the biggest in the world for a reason, not by accident. Okay, so that's that headline there. Let's go back. What else? NVIDIA hits historic 5 trillion. Okay, just a few months ago, they're at 4 trillion. Let's click on more news. Oh yeah, I saw this article right here. U.S. fintech giant Fiserv. I've never heard of this company. Stock plummets over 44% after poor growth forecast. Let's take a look at this article right here. Let's see if I can share this correctly. Am I sharing this correctly? Yeah, okay, I'm sharing this correctly. Okay, plummeted more than 40%, 44% on Wednesday, setting the company on track for a record single-day decline. All right, highly disappointing earnings underscores mounting pressure on fintech's core payments and merchant division. Business is struggling to maintain its momentum in the face of fierce competition. Okay, fierce competition. That's a lesson for all of us. Okay, if you're undertaking a new business venture, okay, check out the competitive landscape before you jump in. Okay, before you start a podcast, you got to realize there's a billion other podcasts. You might be too late. Okay, so just understand the competitive landscape before you pull the trigger. All right, so this company is currently at 70.46, it looks like. Attributed to weak results, partly to a significant deterioration of the Argentine peso. All right, okay, so that's what's going on with that company. Let me go back. Can I go back? All right, let's see what else we got. Caterpillar stock hit a record Wednesday. Let's see what's going on with Caterpillar. AI had a lot to do with it, okay? This is from half an hour ago. Caterpillar shares skyrocketed to all-time high when the big farm and construction machines maker easily beat profit and sales expectations. Strong demand for data center power generation equipment. Okay, let's see here. Why this news matters. All three of Caterpillar's business segments post quarterly gains. AI data centers demand for electricity helps explain why Caterpillar stock is one of the year's top performers. Okay. Shares of Caterpillar were up 12% midday trading Wednesday and up more than 60% this year. Okay, 60% this year. All right, so Caterpillar is mentioned with NVIDIA as well as Pfizer and Hormel. Okay, so Caterpillar is on the move. Caterpillar is on the move. All right. Okay, so Caterpillar, big company involved in AI as well as construction. The construction of data centers looks like. All right. So that's some news. Before we wrap, let me check CNN Business. Let's see what's going on with CNN Business before we wrap. Let me share my screen here. Share screen, CNN Business. Okay, first picture you notice is Powell. Okay, first picture you notice is Jerome Powell. Okay, let's see here. Actually, check this article right here. Boeing just reported another massive loss. It still might be its best week in, I don't know what that last word is, but okay, you can check that, Boeing. Let's see what else. World's most valuable company just blew through an impressive, okay, that's NVIDIA, 5 trillion. Okay, let's see what else we got here. There's Amazon there. All right, what else we got here? Boeing just reported another massive loss. It might be its best week in more than 6 years. The world's most company value just blew through an unprecedented milestone. What else we got? Elon Musk politics. Okay, I'm not even worried about politics. Apple now worth $4 trillion. Okay, Apple worth now $4 trillion. $4 trillion. Apple's what? Apple's neck and neck with Microsoft for second place, second biggest company. The world's most valuable public company just laid out its vision for the future. Let's take a look at that. Let's see what NVIDIA is saying. Okay, conference yesterday. Okay, DC yesterday. Okay. In the face of competition, NVIDIA is sending a clear message. While its semiconductors powers most of the world's AI data centers, the company does way more than just design chips. Okay, so there's a lesson right there. Even if your main thing is the main thing, start developing the next thing. Even if your main thing is the main thing, start developing the next thing. Okay, so there's a lesson there for us. NVIDIA's plans to power the AI era. All right, let's see here. It goes beyond data centers. Okay, yeah, I saw this too. They're doing business with Palantir now. Another top 20, 25 company in the world. Okay, so that's another headline from CNN Business. All right, what else we got here? Okay, all right. We talked about some of these already. Fed looks to set to cut rates for a second time. All right. All right, next week, just as a reminder, next week we'll meet at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Okay, prime time next week, Wednesday. Let me check the comments before we wrap. Anything in the comments? Okay, not too much in the comments. All right. Okay, so I hope today's meeting was a value add to your life. I hope you got something out of it. I purposely try to incorporate business lessons for us. We're not just going to read, cry and complain and then do nothing. Okay, we're not just going to get motivated and then do nothing. We're not just going to get inspired then do nothing. Okay, that's not the point. The point is us to implement. The point for us is to execute. The point for us is to take action. Okay, not just read, get hyped up and do nothing. Okay, so the point is to learn the lessons, then go implement the lessons. Okay, nothing changes if nothing changes. Okay, nothing changes if nothing changes. All right. So next week I will check you at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Again, my name is Errol C. Mango. I'm your host for Winning Wednesdays. Check you out next week. Peace.